beg your pardon?
Oh, clean your ears out, woman. I want some balls.
Welcome to Babylon 5.
Zathras knew you would come.
I think I'll stick my head in the station's fusion lamp.
We've lost much, endured much, sacrificed greatly.
Life's full of mysteries. Consider this one of them.
We are in the process of building the future. Rangers never fall.
If you go to Zahadu, you will die.
Yeah, so I changed the music. I worked on it today. Hey, everyone, it's another Monday. It's another Babylon 5, and we're at the end of Season 3, it seems. And we're getting into Season 4 as of next week. Kind of exciting, kind of crazy. Yes, Mr. Tickle Trunk, that is Spock the Rock Johnson. Yes, it is. I just popped in there real quick, so we've got some fun with that today. Other than that, how is everyone doing on the internet? We're getting closer to Christmas, closer to the end of the year, and closer to new things on the horizon. And with that, while we wait for Keith and his bus terminal lateness to arrive, let's bring up our panel. And the first one we have up is the guy who's not playing Fortnite tonight, is Monkey Jeebus.
Hey, guys.
That was great. Next up, we have Kate. As soon as my mouse works.
Hello.
Hi. And last but not least, the muted Adega Outlaw.
Dang it, I was muted. Hello.
Hello. And we're waiting for other people to show up. From that, I want to say hello to the chat quickly. We got Sir Percelot. Hello. And I see Archer calling, greeting, and saying, hey. I like Jester's Lust. You guys keep that in my chat. Polymys Megan, hope you're feeling better. Hello and good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. And good morning. Louise X Sparrow, good evening. Hello. I know that one. We have Arwen Avalon with the hey, y'all. Thank God all the fries are still safe in Georgia. We have Mr. Tickle Trunk, always waiting to write a love poem to Keith. Black Dragon, glad I got off work in time. Well, I'm glad you're giving us your time as well. And of course, I see Zach's a friend, a mod, and a member. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you to all members who are supporting this channel. It's been a great time this year. Stream Elements, thank you for running, I guess. I don't know what's going with that. And of course, we are back. Hi, guys. How are you? How's your week been? Has your weekend been good?
It's been a weekend. You got a couple that just came in. Shane and Purple. Or did you say Shane?
Oh, hello, Shane. How are you doing? Very nice to see you here. And of course, Purple Valkyrie, who joined us on our latest Fortnite adventure and will probably be blaming me later for becoming a Fortniter. Yes. And who else do we have in here? Yes, I see more popping in. Oh, my God. Yes, it's been great. We've got 12 people here already. Man.
Except for Keith.
Yeah, Keith, where the hell are you, man? I feel like I'm losing out on my tokens.
You know, he's been rubbing his hands, his eyes glossed over, and being so giddy as a chipmunk, waiting for this day, and he's not here.
Yeah, I know. He's like, hey, I can't spoil all this shit. I'm going to be late. Doesn't even tell me he's going to be late. He's just not there. But, yeah, we had Shadow Dancing and Zahadum, as we've been hearing for quite a while. Do not go to Zahadum. And I can't wait to talk about these. It's the reason why also I was talking in the backstage earlier with the Dagas. That's why I want to split up that two-parter, because we wouldn't be able to cover these two episodes together, because they all in themselves are kind of a two-parter, the way they flow into each other. And it's been a great ride. And this is like the peak before the S hits the fan pretty much. When Keith arrives after memes, the world might end. If that happens, I'll have to find a new show to cover.
I'm heading for the basement.
I don't have a basement. It's a And thank you, Zach. Yes, the channel hit 100,000 views today. That's great. I also got my first paid sponsored stream offered today as well, and I'm debating whether or not to do it on Purple, because that's where it is. Awesome one has jumped in with his lubrication and waves. How are you doing, sir? But since we're waiting for Keith, Adega, you asked earlier that you have some things coming from the books you sent me that you want to get into. So
Yeah.
do you want to take the floor? Are you guys okay with that? Story time. Story time.
Story time. This is
Story time.
story stuff that I haven't gotten into, only hinted at a little bit. There is one of the books runs parallel with the events that are going on now. It has to deal with the techno mages. And you guys might recall from season 1, we got to see them for just a little bit. And those of you who have seen Excalibur will know what the specific person that the books are about, Galen. And I'm bringing this up now because there are some events that directly parallel and are related to the main story here. Galen they bring these techno mages in as youths. They don't have them get all the gear right away. They have to learn math and sciences, and all. They have to be extremely brilliant for them to progress. The problem is, and this is part of the story, the books, if you guys don't want spoilers for the books, either one, don't read them, or give it a few minutes. But the way they gain their powers, of course, through technology, but it is shadow technology. And the events of shadow dancing and Zahadum, Galen, through a long series of events, finds himself there on actual Zahadum when these things start taking place. And he discovers what they do to get his power. He sees bits and pieces of bodies and one Drazi being torn apart to have bits of his life essence and his body fused into the technology that is used to put into a technomage, to make a technomage. So basically, you see a technomage, there are others that had to die in order for them to gain their abilities.
They're like a violent sorting hat.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it, yeah. The technomages realized what was going on. The secret about where they get their powers is very, very closely kept up. Most of them forgot it. Most of the technomages don't even know where it's from. There are some that went rogue and decided to become bad, hence the reason why Galen was on Zahadum. But they decided in the first season, you hear about their great migration. The problem is, part of their technology isn't necessarily attached to their body. They develop what's called, or they have a device, and for them to reach their full potential, they establish a place of power, usually a planet. And that device will integrate into everything on that planet. It gets into all the hardware. It gets into all of the surroundings, so that they seem to be almost omnipresent. And a technomage, through the devices, can sense everything in those areas. Well, when they decided to leave, all the older guys had to remove themselves from their place of power. Basically, it was killing them. The guy that you saw in the first series was dying. That was Galen's mentor, the one who trained him. And so he ends up hunting these bad guys, him and his girlfriend, who doesn't fare so well. But in the process, there are events at the end of Zahadum where you see, and we'll get back into it in a minute, where you see Sheridan jump down that giant hole. Basically, Galen is there. That hole is not it's not just a hole. There's not just some big giant hole in the middle of the planet. That is basically a giant computer made of tens of thousands of bodies that line the hole, all interconnected, just like a shadow vessel.
That's creepy.
Yeah, and they're all alive, and they're all using their life force, their mental abilities, to propagate all the different systems and communications and various different things that the shadows use. I'll talk a little bit more about Galen in a minute, probably later on. But this is where we are. There are more than just a ship doing some damage to the shadows with a nuke that happens to them that makes them really stutter for a little bit. Anyway, I did want to share that because the techno mages are basically instruments of evil. They originally were kind of like the direct opposites of what the telepaths were. The Vorlons had the telepaths as a weapon. The shadows used the techno mages as a weapon. And eventually, somewhere in the past, the techno mages decided, you know what, we're not exactly happy with this. And when this war came along, instead of fighting with the shadows like they had in the past, they decided to run away. And that's why you don't see them. That's why they were leaving. But it is kind of integral in the back of the story. So there you have some of it. I'm going to get into a little bit more later on, because Galen basically is he's the epitome of what a technomage should be, and there's a reason for it. It's not that he's anything special except for the way his brain works. So, all right. We don't have a Keith yet, do we?
No, it's really weird. I wonder if he fell asleep.
Maybe.
But yeah, and we're also what, Z minus? Was it Z minus?
Z minus is 6,
7 days.
I think,
7 days
when it starts.
Yeah, 7 days was the opening of this episode. And we actually see the aligned worlds arguing about how much ships to spare, whether or not their planets will be protected or not, if they give or give not. And they're supposed to be giving these assets freely, and they're not being told why. But it makes perfect sense. The less people that know about it, it's the way like we looked at the last episode one of the episodes last week. The less you know, sometimes is the better for you in the outcome. And that's when it came to Londo and Veer. And they're doing the same thing here, but it's with Delenn and the Council of Aligned Worlds. And they teeter them with a little hint, a little tidbit going, oh, we will provide as many Minbari cruisers as we can, as well as something else you have not seen yet. And I think that's what kind of swayed getting a little bit more ships to help with the defense, because they're noticing that all these refugee ships are being built up in one area. And Sheridan came up with the solution of why they're doing this is that if you get everyone up in one big area, one big group, and hit them with one fatal swipe, it will cause not only an emotional feel, but a detriment across anyone involved going against the shadows. Because how to hit them hard? You take them all out at once. It's like,
and it wasn't exactly easy for these non-aligned worlds, because they had been convinced by the shadows only months previous to go to war to each other. And now they're being asked to take all those ships that they've been defending themselves against their own borders from their neighbors, take those ships and fight alongside these people against the shadows. So it wasn't an easy thing for them to say, yeah, we're going to do it. And for them to keep some ships back, you know, the hint was that they were holding back a few. I really don't blame them.
No, I don't. It's like, do I protect my homeworld and millions or billions of people, or do I put them in with blind faith of a commander of a neutral station and a Minbari that is not a Minbari technically anymore in a way, aesthetically, and hope that we survive? It's blind faith versus safe space, pretty much.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, it is. Other than that, like this episode is. Just go ahead.
I was just gonna say, in the background too, we have Dr. Franklin.
Yeah.
Finishing his walkabout.
It's not really finished. It was more like it was forced on him at the edge of a knife. Sorry. I didn't want to be contradicting. Sorry. Are you there?
He got stabbed.
The Dega?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I went really quiet.
I've been doing a lot of talking. It's time for me to be quiet and let other people speak.
Yeah. So the League of Non-Aligned Worlds, we've already covered it. We Dr. Franklin is still on his walkabout. We get to also see Garibaldi and Zach kind of joking about it. Garibaldi still feels this guilt towards it in a way, like he feels like he's the one who caused this, and he's having that mindset. does a person who says, no, I don't want help actually mean they don't want help? Or is it seeing who will come after them? And we've all experienced that type of situation with people close to us or even ourselves. And you see this going on, but there's also another thing that goes in between. And it's Sheridan asking something of Marcus and Ivanova. Means they have to be the ship out there waiting for the shadows to arrive. They're pretty much the not the bait, but they are technically the fodder. And it's a hard choice choosing the people you trust that they might not come back, especially for something like this. And they're sent there to monitor and to give the signal. And they have telepaths at the ready, they have the ships at the ready, but it's kind of playing your hand. Anyone want to add anything to that?
No, it was interesting because that's not the only time that Sheridan has asked people to put their lives on the line or surrender it for the greater good, and which was a real possibility that Ivanova and Marcus were off to do.
Yeah. And this is also where we get to see a little bit more in depth of how much Marcus has feelings for Ivanova, as much as we're not noticing right away. And you can see it on the way he is using the Minbari language, not as so much as showing how I can speak this language, but more he's showing the emotional attachment with the words of his dialect.
He basically tells her how he feels without her knowing it. So he can get it off his chest, but without all the guilt or stress or, would you say, apprehension for opening your soul?
Well, it's pretty much if it provides attachment. It's weird. Your picture isn't showing up on the stream, but it's showing up in my StreamYards. Your whole hand is gone on the screen. It's really funny. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
What I could do then.
No, it's not you. You're fine here on the stream. This is YouTube's end. But hello, Leia Rose. I see you in the chat. Hello. Yes, Santa Steven. But yeah, I think it's more he's afraid that he's going to put his feelings on the line. And it's two things. One, rejection, and one, losing her. Hey, Blue Lantern, you're back. What about you, Kate or Monkey? Do you have anything you want to throw in before we get more into this episode? Because I could talk forever. So can a day.
I like the Franklin bit. I think it's funny. You can see what a great actor Richard was, and the jumping from the seated position I think is probably the funnier part of that. It's like, see, Neener, you've known this about yourself all along, and you just didn't want to admit it because psychology and stuff, and it's funny to me.
Yeah. What about you, Monkey? Oh, sorry, Kate. I didn't cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's about it.
No, I mean, and then like.
Huh?
Hello?
Whoa, that was weird.
I think she got cut off.
Did she pull the cord out?
Something happened.
Was it the shadows?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Personally, I think Marcus showed his hand, was like, and this is a picture of my parents. This has nothing to do with this conversation, but it's a nice picture. Like, that's pretty obvious to me, and I think it was to Ivanova, and that's why she has this deadpan. Seriously, we're on a mission, and you're going to be attempt.
She's having difficulties over there.
Okay.
But along with that, I like 4-poster beds too.
Yeah. I also like the family that's running around. They're kind of like they're the condescending rich folk. They're like, oh, us Sethies are all traitors. We shouldn't be holding our purses. We should be monitoring ourselves. Don't touch any of the people. They're dirty. They're all dirty.
Kind of like that family in Batman.
Yeah.
What part was cut off? I'm sorry. I don't know why my headset's not cooperating. Sorry.
It was up to the point you're talking about.
He's showing the picture.
Yeah,
it was obvious. Yeah, the picture of his family, and that was. I think that was obvious that Ivanova notices feelings. He may not have intended that to be that blunt, but I think it is. But his blatant attempt at flirting with, like you said, Adega, the 4-poster bed, which is funny. But then her deadpan response is like, dude, we're on a mission here. We're trying not to die.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone got really awkwardly quiet. Like,
No, they're probably all reading that, but my thought is just her having her realization, the plot hole to fix it by her having an endemic memory later on. Anyway,
oh yes,
you'll figure it out later on if you haven't seen it. But
now the question is, what do you think when it comes to Franklin? Because I can attach this. I know it's a little farther ahead, but do you think with Franklin, was he actually having those delusions of himself fighting with himself? Was that based just because maybe because of the blood loss, or because he has finally reached that peak where he was looking for, finding himself and where he has strayed from his own path? I'm not talking about the stim addiction. I'm talking about the fact of where he is a doctor and where his humanity as a doctor comes into factor. Because I think that persona that he was arguing with, which is technically himself, was literally the kick in his ass, but it was actually yelling at him at the same time. And I like the way they did that. I know we've seen it on a lot of shows, but was it the blood loss, or was it more of the fact of the going through withdrawal was more of the factor?
Por qué no las dos?
No speak French?
Spanish. Why can't we have both?
Why can't we have? But we can have both. I'm just wondering. I just see the both.
I would think it's both. I mean, it's probably the stims becoming less and less in his system, but then trauma, blatant trauma, bringing on a hallucination, and which is what he was looking for essentially.
What about you, Jeebus?
I don't know. Maybe it was him. Maybe it was like symbolic of him talking to himself, so the audience will understand more that it's him talking to himself.
Mm-hmm.
And you, Dagan?
That's the way I first originally took it. And then, with the blood loss, you can have all kinds of weird things happen to you. From a physiological standpoint, people have had their personalities change dramatically when they've had some type of hypoxia to the brain, where an evil person tends to be better afterwards. Not necessarily losing any of your cognitive ability, it's just your personality alters. But you also get that with medication too. But Jeebus has a real good point. When the whole thing about a walkabout is, as explained in the show, is that you go out until you actually can confront your own self. What that means is only interpretable by the person who is on the walkabout. And for Franklin, it was common sense meeting ego and common sense ruling out. The ego that he built up for himself, all his little safe spaces in his mind, all the little nuances that he plays with how good of a person he is or what kind of person he should be, are all brought down to what difference does it make? You're dying. What kind of person should you have been? Then he comes to grips with that. So any one of those vehicles could have been true. I tend to think that it's like Kate said, it's a mix.
Yeah, but I think it was also the drive that he got that realization from being at that point, and he pushed through at the end. And it's like, I think he stops feeling sorry for himself. I think that's also a main key too. I think he stopped feeling sorry for himself. I think he pitied himself for being addicted. I think he pitied himself for how his relationship with his family is, especially his dad. And I think he finally broke through that wall. I think that was also a key factor in this. They don't really touch on it, but you can definitely see it, because by the end of his arc, especially in this episode, he's not fully a man that can stand on his own 2 feet, joke intended, but he is also a man who's found where his principles can bend in a way.
Well, it's like he becomes whole because he comes to terms with faults that he ran away from his entire life. Even though his family's supportive in their own way and tries to get him to realize that it's okay if you can't do a thing or don't want to do a thing. He just never wanted to accept that, and that's the having it be like, you know, a physical version of the actor acting out the opposite of himself, how he sees himself and what he really is just more aesthetic. But everyone goes through that. We really do.
Well, it was actually a great way. If this was all a self-evaluation, it's a great way to put it on a television show by having what would appear to be multiple personalities in conflict with each other. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm just quickly trying to message to see where Keith is. But anyone want to add anything else before I go more into the in depth of the episode? Because like I know everyone's waiting for Tharadoom, but it's a good part at the end for Tharadoom.
Yeah.
I keep hearing the Dorlan caution in my head when I hear if you
It's
die.
like, what does everybody want? Zahadoom.
No, you don't want that. No, nobody wants that. I don't want that scarring in the back of my notes.
Someone needs to have a bar named that somewhere just because it's funny.
Why is it called Zahadoom? Because every time they hit the floor, they go doom.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry. Who's that? Zahadoom. What is it? Just straight moonshine. No.
Oh, jeez. I appreciate Garibaldi in this because he's already did this kind of thing that Franklin's going through, and he certainly wants to be the shoulder, but he knows that he can't always. So not everyone wants that. Some people just are stubborn, like Dr. Franklin, and have to do it on their own.
Yeah. Now we can get off Franklin for a while, and I want to focus. Unless someone has something else to add, is we see another countdown. We're now at Z-6 days. And like we've already discussed, we have Marcus and Ivanova on the White Star, and he kind of says, "You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen." We already knew that. Depending on the roses you got, we don't know how, but you got them, and she denied them because she thought it was someone else. And it's just Ivanova and Minbari beds are the funniest thing I have ever seen in my life, because I keep waiting for her to slide off again, because I don't know how, it literally looks like a massage bed at an angle. I'm like, how are you doing this?
That's probably what they used.
Yeah.
I appreciate that they leave her hair messy, because she just lies down and then they have the sliding off at first attempt and then sliding off, and they don't cut and then fix her hair, so they just leave it messy.
Dagger, do you have a lover boy? Sorry, quickly to jump in. Is that for you, Dagger? Lover boy?
Nope.
Okay, well I don't know what's going on here then. Okay. Hey, Jace.
Nope, I did see a few people say hi, hello.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And everyone else. Yeah. Look, sorry, get back to you, Kate. Sorry, I just found that weird that someone's yelling for lover boy in the chat, and I'm like, okay.
Is it like the band? I don't know.
I don't know.
What, a movie?
Or a movie. I just thought that was funny, and then I love how she takes the time to put the pillows together, and then this is 4 hours later, or maybe not quite 4 hours. Then they're interrupted. She's interrupted from resting.
That's better. No, yeah, Marcus sounds all frantic. Ivanova, get to the bridge! Ivanova, get to the bridge! I would love if that voice was really put in the Enterprise red alert. Red alert! Red alert! Get to the bridge! Like, it was great. But yeah, Minbari language is not easy to master. And what was it? I think it was her. She was trying to learn it later on. We're going to see. She keeps messing up the syllables, and people in the Minbari just look and go, "Did she just ask kibbles and bits in a bowl of water? What is this? What's going on here?" But yeah, we got two Franklins talking. We got the White Star, who just realized that a scout ship showed up, and they're hiding in the shadow of an eclipse. And guess what's happening? The eclipse is fading, and they are going to be seen when that sun hits them, and bam! Next thing we know, that shadow scout is doing a full U-turn, notices them, and they detect a transmission going out. And then it's Marcus. It's like, wait, do we actually attack them? What if attacking them causes them to come because they don't hear from the scout ship? Like, well, we can't take that chance. And it's literally the butting of heads of two types of logic, which both make sense. Come on, guys, jump on in. Let's have some fun here. I know I've had a little bit of Red Bull today, but come on, I'm talking real fast. Fantastic Four, Franklin? I don't know about that one. No, wrong Franklin.
Look at Jace Fox. That lover boy was for you, Steven.
Sorry, you're on the wrong stream. I am Fat Santa's the goal. There is no Steven here. Try again. Look at the channel name. Archer Collins says, I suspect the Minbari must somehow be able to lock their legs so they can stay upright on those beds.
Maybe not. I mean, technically, the best thing to sleep in is a hammock, so they just may. It's like beds that already you can sleep at an incline and whatnot. So it'll just be slightly different. It's not like it's freaking Coneheads where they literally slept in a wall, guys. It's a little more practical.
Oh, and we have a tickle in the trunk. And he mutes.
Scary monsters.
Great hello there, Tickle. Great hello. Hammocks are uncomfortable. Hey, Tickle.
Okay. It's true, though.
I've never slept in one. I wouldn't know. I would say anything on a military base, especially the spring beds that have no foam in the mattresses whatsoever, are the most uncomfortable things I've ever slept on. Although I will tell you a quick story. When I was in cadets, right? I was in air cadets, right? So we'd go down if you wanted to, and you had the garrisons, which would be like the summer you go away for 2 to 3 weeks doing junior leader, junior instructor courses. But we all slept in these giant barracks on the military base. So some of the cadets in our barracks were thinking they were geniuses and decided to remove all the springs from the barracks officer's bed. So lights out rolls around, lights off, shut up, go to bed. Everything goes down. You have the normal lights on so you can see down the hallway. About 5 minutes later, you hear clunk. The man laid down on his bed and fell through the bed frame onto the floor. We had to stand to for about an hour because of that crap.
It's good for you.
No, it's not.
It's just standing there for 2 hours? I don't know the context exactly. I never did any camp thing.
Standing at attention, you're beat tired. You've been doing stuff all day in the hot sun. The last thing you want to do is get out of your bed and stand at attention in herb shorts or your pajamas while the CO of the barracks is trying to figure out who took the springs out of his bed and where they are.
Oh, well, okay, I see.
Hey, Tickle, how you doing?
Hey, I'm not too bad. How you doing?
You keep switching to a nipple. It's funny.
I know.
So, what do you think of shadow dancing since you finally caught up on memes time? You actually beat memes here. It's quite funny.
I love this episode. What were you guys talking about? I had to leave for a while.
Shadow dancing.
Anything particular with the episode?
We covered a lot of Franklin and the debate between whether this is drug-induced, psychological-induced, a combination of both.
I thought it was a combination of both. I had a family member who was going through cancer, and when their organs started to fail, what happens is it starts flooding your system, and you hallucinate like crazy. So it might have been because he was actually dying that it was mostly hallucinating, like his conscience.
Yeah, it's a good one. So what did you like about this episode, though? I didn't mean to cut you off, but like you're trying to catch up. Like, is there anything you want to add that we've missed so far? Look for my vape I dropped on the floor again.
I don't know what to add because I didn't hear most of it.
Well, just tell us what you think.
Oh, did you like shadow dancing? Did you like Babylon 5?
What's Babylon 5? Okay.
I will slap that hat off your avatar, I swear to God.
I'm trying to think of a part that I didn't like in this episode.
There is one thing that I didn't like in the episode, but it doesn't prevent me from scoring it.
Yeah. Archer, hold on. Archer Conkley says, Fat Santa, you have the cadets in Canada as well? Yes, we do. We have the Air, Sea, and Army. I was a Sea Scout, then Territorial Army myself. We kind of made fun of the Sea Scouts because you got the funny flat hats. But then we realized you guys got the funny flat hats. We got the hats called the wedge. So we literally had a wedge on our head the whole time. It was, yeah. We didn't make fun of the Army ones. I don't know why. Yeah, back to you, Daga. Sorry for that weird outbrow of useless knowledge.
No, the only thing that really bugged me was Franklin was sitting there all huddled up and the little girl came to him. The parents, the way they acted, everything, it seemed to fit, but the age for the child seemed very off. It reminded me of when I was a kid because my parents adopted me when they were older, but it seemed unusual. Almost
I don't
like
know.
they
I
should have
thought,
been grandparents instead of parents.
I thought the woman was the grandmother, and then the man was the father, and
Yeah.
then
So
the
it's
girl
bad
was like,
casting.
I don't know, 5, 6.
Well, it was just my impression, so you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
picked
I can
onto
see
it
where
easier
you.
than I did.
Yeah, I just the loudmouth temperament seems very granny to me.
She's
Not that my grandmothers are like that, but
early version of
Like he
Karen.
wasn't saying anything because it was
yeah,
his mother.
Gladys Kravitz.
Shane Nolan says a Dag Outlaw adopted myself. And Archer Collin, I think, is laughing at the pillows on the floor.
Yes, it's funny.
It is funny. I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
My
Someone else
problem
missed-
is, coming from a chiropractic standpoint,
Oh,
you
yeah.
notice her feet, they're both pointing towards the right, our left. There's a pathology in her spine, but that's just me. Sorry, go ahead.
Let's examine further. No. This has come down to 3 things. You either are in love with your mother, you're in love with your father, or you're an actor.
No, it means she
It's
has
not-
spinal misalignment.
I know this. I'm not a
Okay.
doctor. I don't know. It seems to me your spine has been injured by drinking too much Kool-Aid.
So,
Was it wild raspberry or cherry? Interesting. Oh my
Actually,
God,
it
I
could
gotta
be a
stop
hip
it.
deformity, but I don't know.
Oh, we can,
It's-
and the sad thing is, I actually had a follow up. I did reach out to her. She did reply to me the same day after the show. She will not do any talks about Babylon 5 until after the reboot comes out.
interesting.
Yeah, that's the problem. I just respected it and said she's always welcome to drop by if she would love to just talk and shoot the shit. Not actually shoot the shit. We're not bringing guns on the stream. It's just-
Right.
yeah.
Laser tag.
Nerf or nothing?
Or nothing.
Bug assault.
All right, so we got the 2 Franklins talking. We've already discussed what we think is causing hallucinations. We then have a switchback, and we got combined fleets jumping out with telepaths on board jamming the shadow vessels, because we know deep down the reason why they're using telepaths is because the central hub, the CPU of these vessels, is literally a human or alien mind, an actual being placed in there. And they are also telepaths, correct?
Some of them are, not all
Some
of them.
of them are, yeah.
What few they are able to get from the Psi Corps.
So they could just
wasn't
put a
very
regular
many.
person in there?
Yeah, most of the time the way it had been in the past is they just slap anybody in there that was a sentient being. Didn't matter which species, as long as they were sentient enough to add 4 and 4, it made them compatible. So you could use them as a central processor.
Like what happened on Mars.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They should have used that in
Just
the
pull
Matrix instead of as batteries.
2 different universes there, monkey.
It's both WB.
Which complicates the war a little bit, because you got to know that the Vorlons knew those vessels were there. And one of I think it's from the comic book, to be honest, it may have been the Psi Corps book series. On Venus, they had a hidden base. They've made
The
kind of
Vorlons.
the Vorlons did, yeah. They had a base there of operations where they would take humans, manipulate them genetically, and then send them back to Earth. And over a process of time, they started making the telepath gene become expressive. And that was after the Shadows had already buried some ships there. So my guess is they were, here, we're going to put you right on the front line. Since the Shadows did it, we're going to do it right back at them. But the Vorlons had been on Earth for a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen,
Plug your ears.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you, Daga.
Yeah, no
Remember, no
copyright music
copyrighted
issues.
music.
Though I know I should be wary, still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice!
Oh, I apologize. I need to stop by the corner store and pick up some flushable
Mumberries.
thingamajiggers. No. I got my mumberry juice right here. Don't leave home without it. I left home without it. It was a bad idea. Did I beat Mr. Tickletrunk?
No.
Okay, then I am doing as
You beat
intended.
Keith.
You should get a
Oh.
G Fuel
Even
sponsorship
better.
for Mumberry juice.
Oh no, where's our uncle?
I don't know.
Well, somebody's gotta get drunk.
Not now.
Oh, I am not drinking. It's totally not alcohol.
Okay, thank you for that lovely segue.
You're welcome.
Oh my God, it happened. Memes arrived before Keith. We're all doomed. Yes, the shadows have taken Keith. I hope he is well. But memes, we're on shadow dancing. We're still in the first episode, so you're not that late.
Oh, this is the one where the Sheridan has a friend visit, and by friend I meant family.
No,
No, you
not
are
yet. It's the one before
new.
that.
That's Zahadum.
Oh, I got the
Shadow
episodes remake. Okay, never mind.
Mhm.
This one with a shadow battle, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And
Okay.
Franklin bleeding out.
Oh yeah, no, he's on his little like kumbaya. He's gotta find himself and everything. He tries to help some guy, and of course, doing the right thing, he gets stabbed in the gut. And
Yeah, he went on a
can't get up.
walkabout and saw no kangaroos.
All I know is one must be wary of down below. It can get quite scary, but yeah, no, this was actually a really good episode. I did like this one because hold on, I need to remember what actually happens. Continue. Somebody bring up the episode, go ahead and read because we don't have Keith here.
No, my thing here is.
Oh, we have a
I
dig.
love
We're
it
fine.
when you realize where we're at, because your face memes just explodes like a little kid who's just shown candy. He's like, oh, and it's
No, because of the show. As soon as it came out, as soon as you see frickin' Sinclair, and he just got that look.
Sinclair.
No, I'm going back in time because that's a thing with this series. So at the point where Sinclair's like,
There's
I'm
too
like
many
the
S
arrow that
names
has
in this
been
show.
loosed. We are going forward. And once he becomes literally Valen, because he's always been Valen, but he's been Sinclair, so he's existing, and it's kind of weird. But that was so freaking phenomenal.
Sinclair,
That's why I was like,
Valen Sinclair.
this is why I have to damn my rating for some of these episodes, because after that episode, I literally cried at the end of that episode. I'm watching it and I'm like, how does it continue? How does it continue? I love you, Parrothead. We share those dancing squirrels together. We won't get into that. That's a separate tangent. But essentially, it's all I know. Mr. Tickle Trunk, you can be on top. It's all right. I respect you. All I'm saying is, with what's going on, I forget what's going on. Hold on, let me remember. Continue.
No shit.
I get excited when I see the starships doing the thingies. I still gotta make a clip of the starships doing the thingies.
What is the thingies?
The one where we were inferencing how shadow ships reproduced. It was like 6 weeks ago, maybe more.
Oh, it was your theory when they basically.
That's the face I'm giving memes right now.
Yeah.
I think it was something like love and the starship, go together like space and hardship. This I tell ya. Woohoo! Oh no, that comes up. Sorry, spoilers.
We're all waiting for memes to finish reading up on the
Like on the
episode.
back of a car.
Yeah.
No. I was doing the Sheridan thing where he's extremely happy and.
You mean Sinclair?
Linear. No. I'm talking about Sheridan this time, when he starts exploring some stuff and things.
Well, something that we all went through here, memes, when we get to Franklin and he has his moment of revelation, what caused it in your mind?
Oh, he was about to die.
So is it drug induced? Is it pain induced? Is it blood loss? Or is it just him finally waking up to reality?
Oh, see, I don't. When you say drug induced, this would actually be a withdrawal effect, no? Because he has been without drugs for a while, if I remember correctly. Go on.
Yes.
Oh, so that's. I didn't think about that. I didn't
course
think
not.
about it because he's in a very grumpy mood. I think it's just a combination of everything just flowing together to the point where it's like, I've been making excuses my entire dang life. I need to actually face this BS. Nobody's gonna get out of this except me. I ain't got no drugs. I got no one else to do anything. If I am going to survive and actually have a chance, I got to do this myself.
Now, the other thing we want to add quickly, and I forgot to bring this up. Do you believe Franklin is fighting his own shadow?
Yes.
Anyone else?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I like how you
It's not Taco Bell induced awesome Ron stream.
Tacos usually don't have that effect. You may want to consult your local franchise if that's what happened to you, awesome one.
Taco Bell.
Or it could be a cheap knockoff called El Taco Bell or El Taco Bells. Anything to get away from the copyright, and you're eating whatever.
I don't know if it's our one's Taco Bell, but we'll wait and see. Is it coffee enema induced? You have to ask Walton.
That's some deep lore.
His face looks
That's
that way,
very deep lore, like a whole fistful.
That's not where you stick your queso. Oh God, I think we made a sequel to something that never needed to be made. Continue on with the starships, my friend.
Yeah, well, okay, so then we're getting close to the end of this stuff. They actually successfully fend off the shadows. We have Garibaldi pretty much confronting Franklin in the med lab. And they have their little interaction. We're eventually getting to the point where Sheridan shows up too and offers his job back.
Right.
And I think when we see the alien fleet, when they start seeing the white stars appearing, and the surprise that they teased about in the beginning of the episode with the Aligned Worlds Council comes to fruition, and they realize that they don't have to just protect their homeworld so much, is that they can be on the front lines because they have something that can actually go on par. And it's not just the telepaths, it's the White Stars themselves, which is a mixture between Vorlon and Minbari technology. Still a living ship, but still an unknown technology to the shadows. And that's where the upper hand comes into play.
It's an unknown and improving technology. It gets better the more it fights. It levels up.
That it does.
That's how I learned how to cook. I made toast for 2 weeks.
Oh, cool.
It's a lot of XP.
Did you add in anything else to get bonus?
Butter.
Steven, I'm not. I think you're allowed to show that picture on YouTube. Oh wait, that's a shadow ship.
What'd you think
I
it
thought
was?
It was something else.
Yeah, okay, it's not the Coof.
It's
space spiders.
No. It looked like it was something with 4 legs. I thought we were getting a little erotic with spider demons. I apologize.
Yeah, because that's what we do here. Welcome to Babylon 5 and spider nudity. Let's go.
They're so
I mean, is it really that far for this show?
Hey, fake size,
Did Keith laugh? I thought I heard Keith laugh.
Keith's not here.
Oh, you got my hopes up.
Keith is haunting this man.
It's a very big white panel today.
We thought what's his name was hallucinating.
Oh my God, he's in the showrunner meeting.
Keith is on his right shoulder. Who's on his left then?
We all know who.
It's Taco Bell.
It's just himself and other small memes.
May Gidget rest in peace.
All right.
She was the Taco Bell dog.
Before I wrap up this episode, is there anything people want to add, favorite parts or anything?
Ships fighting and stuff is so cool. You got to see what a lot of them did. Because you haven't seen that before.
I like how they incorporated an actual UFO flying saucer as well.
Yeah, and it just shits pew-pews everywhere. It's amazing.
Well, wasn't that one of the Drazi ships?
The one on the screen right now, the Drazi is the one on the bottom right.
I thought the Drazi was the little flying saucer.
No.
Okay, never mind.
That's the one in the back, the big green one. That's the gosh, I can't even think of the names now. I think the circular ones actually are the the real stinky carrion eaters. What's the name? Sorry, my
Pakmara?
brain's going blank right. Huh?
Pakmara?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes it because all I know is the Centauri have kind of the Lamborghini-like looking ships, and then the Narn kind of have like the Chevelle-looking ships.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like I don't know. That's just what I have in my head there. It's like, all right, you've kind of got like old school muscle and extraordinarily fancy Italian technology. That makes more sense when
No.
I like it.
No.
You have a Fiat, then?
He is a gremlin.
Three.
That's
Mogwai.
It was a three-cylinder. It got 50 miles per gallon. It was wonderful. It had teal hatch. It was different colors.
Oh boy.
Archer Collin quickly says there was a scene in one of the earlier episodes where a human was suing a grave for abducting his ancestor. Oh my god, that's funny.
That was in
And
season 1.
Shane says Pakmora have the same ships as the Drowsy. Really?
Yeah, I think he's right. He has the Vree. That's he's right. He's right.
Yeah. So it might have been that guy who's abducted the ancestor of the the director of photography, I think he was, that was on the show.
Right.
Those are some big ears.
I know that they had the difficulty because this was early CGI, and they wanted to have a lot more ships on screen, but there was no way that they could actually do it.
I think they did a good job.
Right.
With the technology. Go on.
I was going to say, just because all the cameras were sort of close in on the ships. So if it was, shots from farther out, just to see a giant, it would look like, Discovery, the way they have
the other things is you got to consider the technology at the time and the budget they had at the time, which if anything, is probably one of the greatest things for something like Babylon 5 coming back right now, because, okay, now you have the budget of frickin' Time Warner, and you actually have the maestro conducting. So we'll see what happens. But now all I know is I'm seeing fan films of just, especially within the greater Godzilla and Kaiju communities. I'm like, this stuff is as good as the stuff on Netflix.
Yeah.
No, they're right. Better, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot of fan versions of all the battles from the show, start to finish.
Persalot jumps in. Dag, I believe the saucer ships were the Vree, because in the tech books they are called the Vree saucer.
Yep, he's right. He's absolutely. They're both right. I was brain farting. They're right.
This is what we need the community.
No, okay, can't spoil that yet.
No. This is why you see. This is, in my opinion, why Babylon 5 was so successful. Because back in the day, they had the old message boards. So if they did anything that was outside there, they were going to get called on it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the thing. You need people to keep you honest, and I think that makes a better quality product.
That Minbari ship has seen better days.
Mm-hmm. He's missing a whole top part of his fin.
It's a bruised fish.
I know. You got the father and son getting ready to eat it.
What?
See, the eyes.
It did look like eyes. I loved at the end of the battle too, where the music sort of slows down. It kind of goes doo, and everyone looks really somber, and you see just pieces everywhere, floating, and they're all traveling in the same cluster still. I absolutely love that.
Well, and even Sheridan's he's like, well, you know what? We took heavy losses, but they also sustained losses, and more than anything, it showed that the shadows can be defeated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very. It actually gave hope to, let's say, the younger races, as pretty much the Borlons and the Shadows put it, that they don't need mom and dad no more. And why are mom and dad fighting? Pretense right here, and you see, instead of watching mom and dad fighting, they're telling mom and or dad to shut the hell up. And I don't know why he's whistling. That was a bad screen stop grab right there. I'm sorry.
It's all right. He whistles while he works. Yes, Z minus.
And
yeah, we're waiting for the zombies.
There's no.
Yeah.
Did you talk about the dream yet?
No, go ahead.
There's another callback to Sheridan's dream when Kosh talked to him while he was a prisoner on who was it? The Stribe ship, I think they're called, with the Narn guy with the sword.
Yes.
He has that dream. You know, you are the hand, and they sort of go through it step by step, figuring out what fits and what doesn't, and they finally get to the man in between.
The man in the middle.
The man, yes. Monkey in the
He
middle.
is not only your opposite, he is also your equal. And they thought they thought it was one person, and it's not. So they have yet to be introduced as. We're still in with the shadow dancing episode because we see the slowdown. We've seen the interactions in the med lab, but then we're back in hyperspace and we see a shadow vessel depart a shuttle, but it's not a shuttle of shadow design. You notice that it's not. It's
that way it wouldn't be stopped.
And this is an interlude to the next episode, which we'll get into shortly after our rating. And it's something that's causes a what the F moment to certain people on the station.
That little pod is totally sus.
Is anyone a little awkward by how Garibaldi is like, I'll do him. Like, I want that. Try and put it now. I'm like, I like that. That's like
he's giving him that look. He's like, don't you dare die on me or I'll kill you.
Why is Frank looking at him? He's like, you sure do got a purty mouth? No. You want it now?
Killing is wrong.
I think he's watching.
Go.
I think in his head he's watching all those credits go away.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty sure it's just you, Steven. Pretty sure. It's all the money he lost. You motherfucker. I lost so much money.
Well, that is what he said, but ratings.
He's like, I'm going to get closer. How did his head turn all of a sudden?
Franklin is a very handsome man.
Yeah. Just pull on my receding hairline and I'll teach you a good time.
And he still makes Miss Tallman carry the bags.
Oh, no. Oh, he's awake now. He's like, look, he's even looking down.
Okay, that's okay.
Stop.
I'm sorry.
Steven.
I'll stop.
Now it's convinced.
You're
ruining it.
Sexual tendencies, maybe?
No. It's like, why are you turning my Babylon 5 into softcore? What's wrong with you?
What do you mean suppressed?
It's called a joke.
Just because 2 weeks ago we were talking far too much about Miss Tallman's memories doesn't mean you need
You
to
were
completely...
talking about shadow ships breeding not even 5 minutes ago.
I still think she's leaving money on the table.
7.
Look. He's like, oh, yeah. I'm having too much fun today.
Oh, my word.
I give it a 9.5.
I give it a 9 as well. Yeah.
That's all I can see now. Jesus.
Look, he's even confused now.
Why are my genitals confused?
Why a 9 or 9.5 instead of a 10?
Why do I have an erection?
Because I ruined it just now.
You
3
stayed on it
different
too
streams
long.
this way. Hold on. Brett says 3 different streams this morning have referenced Deliverance. Are they doing a remake? I didn't even know that. You shoot a guy a pretty mouth for a Vorlon. Come on down.
It's in the water.
Instead of playing I'm done.
Does
That
bad
ain't no
things to
Londo.
frogs.
That's a loot. And there we have the ship I was talking about in hyperspace. Nice shiny black thing right there. Spidery even.
Yep.
And-
Remember the skin on that. I'm going to talk about that a little bit.
All
in
right.
a couple minutes.
And then we have what? That is the worst screen grab of his face. He looks like he's really.
He's mid-sneeze.
He's mid fart. He's like, please don't smell Ivanova. Delenn, don't look at me.
If I lift up both cheeks, they won't know. But if I tilt one side, it's obvious.
He's clenching his fist like, please, not now, not now.
The shadows look like smaller black versions from the Aliens and Starship Troopers.
Yes.
He's like, okay, good, they're gone. They're like, oh god, I can smell
Oh no, they smell it.
John, I know what you did.
Oh my god, here's the new redub. He's like, yeah, I did it.
You're damn right.
I'm so sorry. I'm not.
They're
really
never
sorry.
coming on the show.
And this is where you're talking about the dream, right? And the flashbacks. I was
Yeah,
like,
he's
I am not
revealing his
who I say I am, and that was related to Ivanova's telepathic abilities. And then we had the other one where it came to relation of Bester, and then we get into the discussion about the man in the middle of the tickle truck brought up, and we have to get to meet them as Memes dies on stream. Yeah, this is like a Motrin commercial right here. Got a headache? Try Vorlon 42.
Dude, I hated those head-on commercials so much that at one point I was in CVS. I had a total
Head
headache.
on.
It was right there. It was
Head
on
on.
sale. Dude, I completely avoided buying it just out of spite because the commercials annoyed me.
I do not know if Mahoney is under the desk. And technically, Mahoney, if you're coming from Police Academy, hired a hooker to go under the podium for the commissioner. We're going to get it right. Why I remember that, I don't know.
Memes revealed his Achilles heel.
No, I hurt my shin.
Oh, yeah.
Achilles shin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Head-on commercials.
This is where Sheridan is then comes in the lab. He approaches Franklin. I've said earlier, offers his job back. Franklin's like, well, do you want me to have my job back? And he's like, it's there. It's waiting. And he takes it. And sometimes it does take half a man to realize his full stature. And I can sum it up the way he's in the wheelchair. He isn't fully recovered, but he still wants to do the best of his ability and go back to being a physician. He wants to be the doctor of the station, the head physician. And I'm proud of him for doing that. I am not proud for him wearing plaid, though. What the hell, man? It's in the future. Find a different shirt. I know, but find a different shirt.
Made in the 90s.
Well. They do
The
go
90s
out of
was
their
good.
way to find the worst and most tacky 90s things because that will be perceived as futuristic.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I also want to throw this down for debate. I also believe Franklin in his off time is a magician because bam, two guys to show out of nowhere with the wave of his hand. It's look.
He kind of dresses like Joe in Arrested Development.
Bam. Sheridan even appears out of nowhere. Look at that.
He's a wizard.
He is a wizard. Look at that. He's there. He's not there. I'm sorry.
It's like, yo, Wizard Franklin.
Somewhere Keith is shaking his head going, what the are you doing? I'm like, you're not here, bro.
This is where he just face palms, and it's like, oh god.
And here, this is the scene that falls into the next episode. And this scene is great because we're not seeing who it is, but we're seeing them walking through the crowds. Hello, Lewis Cox. How are you doing? Nice to see you here. New face in the chat. And of course, the lovely Sherry, lovely avatar. Hello.
Hi, Sherry.
And we're seeing a first-person perspective of who just arrived on the station. And if for first-time viewers you don't know, the shuttle's arrived. Of course, they've gone through with their scanned ID card, and later on we're going to see Zach interacting on the intercom with Ivanova. And what happens is that certain people are actually, like the way she's going through the crowd, or the way this person's going through this crowd,
Yes.
it feels like they're automatically kind of aware
that
there's another presence there.
There
but
was
before you do that,
Go ahead.
I would like to welcome to the stage Keith of Destruction.
Hi, Keith.
Hey, everybody.
Are you doing okay, bro?
Hey, Keith.
I am worn out.
I am so sorry, man. That's why I was spamming. I was making sure you were okay.
Oh no, I work. My job just took it out of me, and after this weekend, wow,
Well, you did the film premiere as well. Please don't rewatch this episode because I was making some weird references earlier. Because as soon as I said Keith, would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You showed up, so it was kind of like
it was immediately after I said, "This is the moment where just Keith face palms." Is like, oh,
yes, these are
This is the episode where you tell your parents, no, they are no longer my friends.
This actually after this weekend, I wow. This is a weekend to be thankful for people, to be thankful for friends and
family,
everything. And I want to at least what I've said in private, I will say, really thoroughly and just with a lot of gratitude. That I am glad to be with all of you. I am. It is just.
Can we get some praise?
It has just been great. It has been great to be around everyone, and this weekend was full of surprises in a good way. Yeah. So
Thank you for taking us on this journey with you, man. This has been freaking phenomenal.
What the hell?
It has been a journey and a half. Needless to say, I've met some people this weekend that have just blown me away. Whatever complaints and aches and pains, let me just say, after the film premiere and meeting wrestler Greg Pappas and his family, at his age, the energy and everything this man was able to do, I can't complain about stuff. I really can't. His positive energy is infectious. And eventually I will have some pictures for you guys from that weekend. But meeting him and Medusa and the WWE wrestler and everyone connected with this was just amazing. And that was my Friday night.
Fun.
What was your Sunday? What was your Saturday night?
Don't spoil it.
Hello, Mr. Straczynski. How are you doing?
My Saturday night was my Saturday day. Really was supposed to be me at probably one of the last events before the end of the year, a one-day convention put on by a friend of mine, and I was there to help him, but also meet a lot of the really cool guests that they had there, and then to accept, really to help accept an award on behalf of a friend of mine who couldn't make it, and also be there as another friend of mine was given an award from his daughter. Right. And then to also surprise a friend of mine with an award of her own. And that was all meant to really kick off the fact that they rededicated the award to a friend of mine who had passed away this year from COVID.
I remember.
And his parents were there. So I hadn't had a chance to meet his parents. So there's a lot of tears and hugs. Again, no parent should ever have to bury a child. And it was good. It was good. And then I had a surprise waiting for me. Something that I never expected. I never asked for.
Those are the best kind.
I never expected this, but let me just say, becoming the recipient this year of their Pop Culture Icon Award thing for him.
Cool.
Come on, applause in the chat, guys. Come on, give us some applause in the chat. What is he wearing on his head?
This was, I was stunned. So, let me just say that I, in my own way, kind of share this with even all of you here, because I do this because it is fun and I love it, and I would like to just say thank you to all of you. So, thank you.
Keith, you are literally the ethos of what I would consider a true fan and a class act.
Agreed.
Well,
ditto.
Again, I just thank you. I just try to have as much fun as possible, and share that love of what I do, and hopefully I can be as energetic as Mr. Pappas is into. Gosh, I think I don't want to. I think the man's at least in his late 60s, early 70s. And the energy he gave off was amazing. He was moving and doing stuff that even people in their 20s would not be able to keep up with. And for a man that used to wrestle in the 60s and 70s with Andre the Giant and other early wrestlers, I gotta say, when he told everyone that he could still fit into his wrestling uniform, and he could throw people. And one of the guys that was part of the crew of the film, he was able to slam him in the documentary. This guy is almost my size. And then to announce that he was fighting cancer.
Oh, crap.
And I was just like, wow, what am I doing with my life right now? And he took time out to come out and do this, and just, you'd never know. You never know. So that was my weekend before I got to work. So
I think an appropriate quote at the moment is, "Take responsibility for your actions, for crying out loud. You go in there and you fight for what matters to you. Don't just walk away because it's easier." Dr. Franklin's hallucination.
Yes. So that, thank you. Yeah, I met some people, made some friends, and was surprised by a few others, and that was Friday and Saturday for me. So
you sound exhausted but fulfilled, and I think it's what you needed, Keith, after some of the stuff we all know in private. Some of us know, but you sound like it was more than you expected, but just what you needed.
Yeah, like I said, I think you hit the nail right on the head, Steve. Hopefully, it'll lead to some interesting things coming up on Pop Culture Minefield. I am looking at one particular guest who I had the opportunity to meet that actually worked on Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Ooh. I want in on that. Is it Beecher? Is it Beecher himself?
Let's just say I heard that there was a guest coming in. I had only heard about his animation credits. I was not
Keith
expecting
can neither
him to have
confirm nor
worked.
deny.
As long as it's not the guy from Seventh Heaven.
He wasn't an actor. He wasn't an actor. He worked on the visual effects, and he gave away a secret from the movie about how they did one of the effects that blew everyone away, because we would never have guessed that that's what they did. You know,
Vaseline on the lens.
Say what?
Vaseline on the lens.
Vaseline on the lens. It's something almost
It's not
like
George
that.
Lucas.
No, but I mean, simple. Is it simple like that?
It is simple. It is kind of simple like that. For the effect of Decker towards the end of the third act, where he decides to join with V'ger, and there's this effect of all the lights and stuff above him, and he explained how that was done, and I still am shocked how shockingly simple that effect was, and yet the look of it, if you've seen the movie, is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a chance to meet him and one of his business partners, George, who is, again, another energetic guy. Everybody really, but oh man, that was, yeah. Well, I'm working on getting him so we can reveal some more from that film. Wow.
Fantastic.
That's so cool.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, it would be.
I know, right?
Well, let us know when that happens.
Yeah,
I can't always
yeah,
make
it's
your guys' show, and I don't want to miss that one.
we will announce when we're able to get him on the show.
Yes, we will.
Again, he was amazing. And again, the credits that this guy, I bought one of his pictures, and it was again, I'm meeting someone else whose first job was the animated series Super Friends.
Oh my God. That's not Tom Cook. No, it's not Tom Cook.
Oh no. This is somebody else.
Oh,
This
somebody
has
else, because
been
I know
one
we
heck of a
talked to
year.
Tom Cook before too. He also did.
Yes.
He-Man, so, yeah, all right, cool.
Yes. Tom's always great, and I'd love to have him back on with this guy. Philo Barnsford. And oh my God, this dude. Whew. So yes, I was shocked and very happy to meet him, and
You got to shoot
This
the
guy's
shit
been
in
getting
nerd
it
culture and actually feel like you got something out of it. You got something. It looks like you got something physical, you got something emotional, you got something mentally, and it all just made one giant nerd salad for you.
Yes, and it's still in my head. I'm just playing it and replaying it, and just again so thankful for everyone, and especially you guys, because you guys are just all of you guys are just incredible examples of just really cool and very loving and helpful fans.
And then Keith grabbed that nerd salad with both hands, and he tossed that nerd salad.
And while drinking his Cabernet and tossing his salad on that tree branch, I wrote love poetry to JM on that branch and said, please don't fuck up the
Made sure that the pens were on tight.
Look,
memes. If I see that finger one more time, I swear to God, I swear to God, bro, one more time, I see that finger.
Not Keith's fingers. They're more impressive.
Put your finger in your
Yeah.
You sound good.
I'm honored to be a part of again all of this. So thank you for.
You said yes.
Well, I'm very glad you made it for this episode, because I thought you would have lost a load if you weren't able to be part of this one.
He lost a load last week with 64-year-old tits riding naked on a dragon. He already lost that.
That's true. That is true.
But don't
that was the week before.
Put it away. Put the finger away. I swear to God.
It's bothering you?
No, because you keep telling people to shh. I don't. It's like it's all good. I swear to God, Dr. Evil, www.zipit.com.
Zip it good.
But honestly, I can agree. This panel is fantastic. We got multiple different types of mentalities and personalities here, and even in the chat. And we've just gone through two seasons already of Babylon 5, and no one has suffered a cornea. Coronary. My bad. I fucked that word up.
Lombardy part.
But we are, and Keith, I don't know where you are, but we are actually almost done shadow dancing, and we've gone through a lot of different things through this episode. I kind of manipulated and kind of weirded out the Garibaldi and Franklin scene. I won't go back into detail, but it was very softcore. It was very nice. A lot of cuddling.
Oh, I should clip that and send that to them.
Oh, go ahead and do that. CW, we need more weird softcore scenes in your show. Yes. But is there anything you wanted to add to shadow dancing, Keith, while you're polishing your award?
I think he was grabbing a drink.
Muted. Either he walked away or forgot his mute.
It was like, fuck Steven, I'm out.
Yeah.
I think he's like, I'm on now. Now I can finally get some food.
That might be true.
He's probably starving. I mean, you heard how tired the man sounded. I mean, he's had an absolute blast, and he had to work.
Yeah. So then, while we're waiting for Keith to get back, I gave it an 8.5. Adega gave it a 10. Memes, you gave it a 9.5, if I remember correctly.
I did just mostly for the Franklin stuff, just because the confronting oneself. I tried to take it. I didn't do as well as Franklin did. And again, I also didn't get stabbed.
No. Just fingered.
I give it a 9 for the gun battles, for spaceship battles.
Yeah. What about you, Kate?
8, I suppose. 8.5.
And Mr. Tickle?
This is one of my 10s. It
Oh.
goes through the first battle against there's a battle against the shadows. The Franklin stuff comes to a head. The ending of this episode's amazing, and there's a callback to the dream.
There is. It's the actual, and it's the snow globe scene where like they must have filmed that episode before they did this one, because the way it's exactly the same. It means they didn't actually film it in order for this part.
True.
Of the
Well, they did.
It's
You're
one
right.
shot, isn't it, or just a couple shots, and the rest of it was probably done afterward. I think when the lights go on, that's when it's.
I really don't know.
Look at how she's looking at him.
What, Garibaldi?
Yes. I mean, there is a lot of intimacy in this episode. I mean, to be fair, and you got a big ball shattering.
Oh, since Keith's here, I wanted him to go through this. I don't remember who brought it up. It was 2 weeks ago. Somebody mentioned how everyone was looking at her while she was walking through the station.
Yeah.
Because it was hey, Keith is back. Was it you, Keith, that mentioned the misdirection in directing about everyone looking at her while she was walking through the station? And how that was some sort of...
That was me. I don't know if that was me.
It's I just wanted to make sure that it was brought up, because that was because of crossed wires, because originally the person who was... So maybe in my theory is that in the script it was the original person who was supposed to be here, which was Takashima. So everybody on the station probably would have seen her around, and she was the one who was dating the captain. So they would know who she is. So if she goes back onto the station and walks through all these things, people would look at her like that. But it doesn't make any sense for people on the station to look at Sheridan's wife like that.
Unless people check the ID card and people start whispering, and whispering travels faster than the feet.
The other thing is the Icarus is known as a lost vessel. They don't know what happened to the crew. And I mean, with anything, we're going back to the way the news broadcast systems works, was kind of like a propaganda system. They would have shown at least the names or the faces, especially if it's the captain of the station, the known losses, especially related to the station, or even the man who's famous for how he defeated a Minbari cruiser. It would have some significance.
Yeah, Keith would know this too, because we were both a little more aged when the space shuttle dropped and there was a teacher on board. And if we saw that teacher walking anywhere, both he and I would recognize her, because we saw that face so many times. It'd be like, wait a second.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, and that's a little odd, but yeah, you're right. You're right. And it would definitely be someone who a lot of people, you'd at least get people reacting and looking and probably even talking a little bit.
Yep.
That would just be too weird.
Did either of you bring that up last, was it 2 weeks ago, or am I imagining that? This topic? Because it might have been from JMS himself.
I think it was a JMS thing.
I remember it from something that may have been when he was doing like the Geometry of Shadows or something.
Yeah, because he does reaction videos of this show right now on his
He had to film it 3 times.
Yeah.
He got copy struck on his own show.
That might have been where I remember this from then.
I didn't finish it, but I do remember that coming up at some point in the past few weeks.
Yeah. Well, anyway, sorry. 10 for me.
Cool. Is there anything
you
want?
the same nerd brain a little bit, because most of our scores are the same.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything you wanted to add to Shadow Dancing? Is there anything you wanted to add, Keith, to Shadow Dancing before we go into Zahadu?
Oh no. Good episode though. I love. Look, I always get this. Watching that episode, you kind of get that feeling, that something big's about to happen. So when the next episode hit, I remember it's like, oh no, Oh no, here we go. So, yeah, no.
I thought
I
it was
did.
interesting that they use a lighthouse in a snow globe because a lighthouse is generally a symbol of someone who's alone and a beacon, but always alone. So
Mhm.
that's interesting.
Isn't also? I think it's the beacon for other lost ones to find their way.
But you're alone.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Well,
that's
it shatters.
fascinating. Oh, good point.
And here we have Darth Vader herself.
Wow.
I
we're gonna
definitely
go there with
appreciate-
that. Okay.
What? We are.
She was
Kind
on
of,
Little
but
House on the Prairie.
But Darth Vader still is himself, though. So he's just kind of, mangled.
She looks more like the Emperor right there. She's just coming in. Yes, I am here now.
I heard
am
you
here.
fought, Don. I heard you fought from across the universe.
Yes,
all the way
yes.
from Zaha.
Why are you looking at my husband?
Why are you in bed with my husband? Not looking at my husband.
No. She's not in bed. She's just kind of like
He's
watching
sitting on the
over
bed
him.
watching him sleep.
Well,
That's
she's not
part of the
in
tradition.
it.
For
She's
3
on
nights.
it. I'm not sure if
that's
that's
what I
better or
said.
worse.
I'm sorry. For 3 nights, the female will watch the other one to see whether or not they like the face of his sleeping. That's where they see the true self. And if it doesn't, and on the 3rd night, if she likes what she sees, that comes till later. Then you get the 74 music and everything.
So yes, we are introduced to Anna Sheridan.
And this is where we get the scene where the globe breaks, and we get to Z minus 2 days, and another prophecy of the dream is fulfilled.
And at the time of this show, those two are actually married.
Yep.
In real life.
In fact, they had a son. In fact, they've got 2 sons together, I think. And both of them you can actually follow now on Twitter and on Facebook.
Well, so they probably used their real wedding picture then. That's cute.
We are now at the point where we hit Zahadu. This is the final episode of season 3. And we get a little backstory of the loss and the issues of what happened to the Icarus, how Sheridan's wife went missing. This is at 5 years ago. Okay, so she has been out of everything for 5 years. He has mourned, he has missed, he has gone through loss. He has believed that she is not only dead, but no longer of this universe. And they are the ones who woke up the shadows. They are the ones who woke up them on Zahadu. In a way, the human race is the trigger point for why things are the way they are now.
There's a book that explains all of this part of the story, but I can't remember the name. It's right behind me, but I'm not going to get up to get it. But one of the books, it does go through this whole story. And it's probably my least favorite out of the books, simply because it's a little on the boring side, but it does explain the history.
But it's this episode's just great. It's great.
Oh, it's there's a heavy feeling to this episode, and you get to the end of it. This was one of those episodes where you can definitely tell that they went out of their way to outdo Next Generation's Best of Both Worlds.
Yes.
This is one of those episodes where it was just like, oh my goodness,
This is a frickin' 11. Why I say this is because, okay, you got frickin' Sinclair leveling up to Balin, which he already was, which is confusing in and of itself. And then you got this, it's like, all right, how can we twist this up? They just fought. They got all these different worlds that are fighting with each other all the time to team up for a common cause and show that they can have victory. And oh, by the way, your dead wife isn't actually dead. She shows up and she's like, it's okay. The shadows are our friends and everything. Let me tell you a tale. And the way he ends the episode, I'm like, he's gonna do it. No, he's not gonna. Oh my God, he's going full on He-Man. I love it.
Well, one last thing for this particular episode, in mentioning Best of Both Worlds and Star Trek, is that this episode was directed by Adam Nimoy, son of Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
Right, did a
Was
fantastic
those the
job.
first things to do that, where they have the dead spouse come back to life? Because that was an absolute '90s trope for a lot of things. But if
A
they
lot
did
of soap
that
operas.
first, yeah, a lot of that was like that not token late '90s and aughts trope was that.
I don't
Well,
think.
usually when you see the dead spouse for a lot of this stuff, it meant that everything that had come before was a dream.
Okay.
But this
Yeah. Well, it's
yeah,
interesting
it's
because
not
it
so much.
inspired a lot of things then, like pretty much every daytime thing ever.
Yeah, I think it was in Murder She Wrote first, but JMS used to write for Murder She Wrote.
Oh,
Yeah,
Angela
so-
Lansbury,
My-
how
my-
we miss your bed knobs and
My mom loved that show.
Yeah.
Murder, she wrote. Let me tell you about Murder, she wrote. Sorry.
I highly recommend JMS, any of JMS's books. You know, he on top of everything else, the guy is an author, and he has written a lot of really incredible books. Mainly the ones that I love are his books on writing. He wrote a book that is now out of print, and my brother bought it, gave it to me, and like an idiot, I let someone borrow it, and they never brought it back.
I'm sorry.
But
I'll
it was a book about screenwriting, but also how to write for radio, how to write commercials, how to write. I mean, he this one book was over all the different styles of writing, and he would also give you a little bit about how he would handle certain scenes. He also would include little bits of his writing from Murder She Wrote, and even a script that he wanted to write and submit for MASH, which was also another one of his favorite shows. If you get an opportunity to read any of his books, do it, because you will learn a lot. And excuse me, you will definitely get a lot out of that. So,
yeah.
When the maestro retires, he totally needs to be a college professor. Sorry.
Oh, that would be a course I'd take gladly.
He'd look up at the class. He'd be like, "Aren't you guys all a little old? Shut up!
That's okay.
Stop doing the finger! God damn it, me! Get chopped up and feed it to Kathleen Kennedy."
I think he even wrote a biography called "Becoming Superman," which is about his life. But his screenwriting book, his writing book, is one of those books that'll just wow. I mean, it's called The Complete Book of Script Writing, and wow. If you want to learn how to do it, yeah. So
I think the only thing he hasn't written are musicals and packaging labels, and I think it's everything else he's written for.
I would, but that'd be so fun. A Babylon 5 musical. Come on, please.
I'm actually right there with you. Evil Dead made a good musical. I think Babylon 5 can make a good
Evil
musical.
Dead had a great musical. There was a splash zone. They literally gave you ponchos because you would get splashed with blood.
Well, the song Bye Bye. There's 40 seconds where he's being sprayed in the face with blood constantly from a severed head being cut with a chainsaw. It's amazing.
And it's NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye. So just think about that.
Can I be Londo?
I gotta say, thank goodness he's working on the Babylon 5 reboot, and that this isn't probably going to go the way that
people normally would expect these days.
Well, the possible Firefly reboot.
Oh my God! No! I don't want to talk about that. No.
Oh yes!
No! It's not time.
Are we talking Apple Maps bad?
Yes. I want to quickly.
Oh,
I want
no.
to quickly point out, memes. If you come on next episode with your hair up like a centauri, I would pay to see that.
How much?
Not much. I don't have much money. I'm
Okay.
I'll pitch in $5.
There's my PayPal me.
I need to find hairspray.
I'll give you a
Hairspray.
quarter.
You just get some
Aquanet.
toothpaste.
No, but then
Why
it
would-
bleaches my
no.
hair.
You
That's
use
how my
Elmer's
beard has
glue
a
and
streak down the
hairspray.
middle.
Like
Fine,
something about
use
money.
Gorilla Glue. Use Gorilla
Oh
Glue.
God, no, not that. That's not water soluble.
I heard that's unwise, and I believe Kate. She's good at crafts.
I'm not good at crafts. I went to an art school full of punk rock nerds.
I think it's
Mhm.
So
called
egg
Gorilla
whites
Snot.
and toothpaste.
So resurrected wife.
I like how he's getting off the subject of fucking with his hair. I love it. Go on, Keith. I'm sorry, or anyone. I'm gonna shut up now.
Memes, just post your price somewhere in the chat, and we'll meet it.
Memes, I will ship you a box of chocolate Twinkies if you do that to your hair.
Oh. I have to get some milk.
I would like to see Jakar though in the Chronicles of Narnia.
Why?
You know, Narnia.
Oh, Narnia. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Brett Cohen drops in a $10 super chat. Come up with
So
the
the
rest
planet is
yourself.
Narn and the from Narn and called Narns.
Thank you, Brett, for helping the memes. Is going to be a Centauri fund, and for that, I'll just use this one. No! Give me money! Give me money!
I logistically don't know how to do it. I mean, like, I have some coat hangers and stuff,
okay.
but I feel like I'm going to stab myself in the skull.
Well, I think that
Talk
what
to
you
me
can
after,
do.
Kate.
Okay, that's cool.
This is gonna be fun.
Awesome.
I can just meme his head on a Centauri's body too.
Thank you, Brett Cohen. This
Actually,
is
hold
awesome.
on. I got memes. Don't move. Just look at the camera. No, chin up. There you go. Thank you. Have a good one. Tickletron drops another $5. Says for the Centauri memes fund. Oh my God, the meme Tari.
Oh God.
Do your part today. Oh my God, we're selling Starship Troopers. I'm doing my part to make him fucking hate us.
Woohoo! 8 of them.
Look at this. Chronicles of Narnia, the Volon, the Shadow, and the Hypergate. Yes, the Lion, the Witch, and the Bitch.
Right. Be nice.
And Mr. Tickle Trunk, thank you for dropping that $5. I will give you everyone's favorite.
Fat Steven Scale with 2 Canadian. Drinker was so mean and mocked my fatness and movies. Ah, shut up, you fat fuck. Man of War 665. Neighbor of the Beast. With a 5.
They ever watch the Slap Mountain every day, and then there was a guy looked just like Az.
I can't. I'm working on science. Go ahead, Keith. If the floor is yours, I gotta do it.
Thank you very much.
Well, anytime.
I love this pause.
We need Mike Tyson right now.
It's like someone slipping a finger in his bum when he doesn't.
That's what she's doing. She's like, John, do you feel this? Don't pay attention to her.
She's Minbari, not Centauri. She doesn't have extra appendages.
Oh,
You don't
yeah.
know
Oh, yeah, that
anything
is her
about
right
it?
arm. Yeah, I guess he's putting his
Yeah,
own finger in his
like-
bum.
No.
Surprising himself.
Consent
Continue.
matters.
We hear Fat Steven Seagal doing it.
Anyway,
Okay.
anyway, we're going to start with Jakar and Susan Ivanova, and Jakar presenting Ivanova with a shipment of nuclear warheads that will not show up on scanners. How useful is that? But we also have Dr. Franklin was able to examine Anna, and as far as he's able to determine, dental records, DNA, all perfect match, although there is some scarring on the back of her neck.
Mm-hmm.
So Sheridan tells him to investigate that, a little later. And then Sheridan ends up talking to Delenn about Anna's survival. Basically, Sheridan believing that Delenn had lied, basically. So
her and Kosh, to be exact.
Yeah, which that's kind of a big deal.
It is.
I think what hurt him
but,
most was the fact that they didn't give him the opportunity to choose.
Mhm.
It's not that they
That's what
lied,
really
but they
bothered him.
didn't trust him enough to make a choice.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a tough thing to do to someone who, like himself, who's very strategic, and you're like, okay, you don't think I'm intelligent or trust me enough to make a good call, so that's what's insulting, I suppose. It's not just that they misled him; it's that they didn't trust his judgment.
Right.
Well, you're not being honest. It's like Adega said. It's just like, okay, now this is showing that, okay, one, you can't trust. Well, we thought we were going to do this. I assume this. It's like, no, explain how it is so I can deduce for myself. So if he makes the connection, it's like, of course, Anna wouldn't do that. She's not going to join the shadows if she happened to be forced.
God damn it, Delenn, you never gave me a choice.
Now, Stephen.
That's exactly what she said. He said.
Mm-hmm.
Although, there is a lot that has happened to him since he's come on the station. Given where we are at this season, do you think he could have handled all of that in a conversation?
No. It would have been something that had to happen slowly, and he had to kind of figure it out on his own, and then confront, of course. But even that wasn't an option. That was never. There was no breadcrumbs for that on purpose.
Instructions: in order to avoid aneurysm, please inform slowly.
This is one of those situations where, it would have been nice for someone to walk up to you one day and say, "Okay, I'm gonna tell you a bunch of stuff. You really need to sit down." There's not enough alcohol out there to prepare anyone for that.
Yeah.
This is, in my opinion, this is definitely one of those things where you literally, in his position, he literally would have had to have been shown some of this stuff before. And there is no way you could have condensed really 2 years of surprises for someone like him with his background and what he's lived through in any kind of conversation, short of mind meld. And even then, I don't even think you would have been prepared for the enormity of what you'd have to cover to get to this point.
Yeah, it also has to sink in after, too. You have to sit on it.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Information for a while.
I mean, you try to bring him in too early, and all you're going to do is possibly push him the other way. And think of it, of Sheridan then, joining with Clark. Oh, gosh. That would have, no. This to me, the emotional honesty of that moment is great, and it's understandable. But again, I'm down with Delenn. I think she handled it right.
It's good acting too. He did a really good job on this.
Oh yeah. Again, it's one of many multitude of instances, and trust me, as we get closer to the end. Oh yes. Anyway, excuse me. So what you have here is Londo and Veer, and Londo revealing to Veer that he has been promoted to be an advisor to Emperor Katarja. So, wow.
As a leash to keep him in check because he's gaining too much power, too much trust too quickly, and the fact they can't control him on Babylon 5, so they are trying to restrict what he can do by keeping him always at their side.
It's one of
as a side note, I was going to say as a side note, I met the actor that plays the Emperor. Interesting guy. He actually came here to my hometown, and we had
This
him for
emperor
a
or the
convention.
previous emperor?
This one.
Cartagia. No, see, I thought they pulled Londo back because Cartagia was kind of getting a wee bit out of hand. He was kind of a little loopy, kind of nutty bananas.
A little.
Being kind. All I know is as soon as I saw that haircut, I'm like, oh no, it's worse than I thought.
Anyway, then we have Franklin, who is able to compare Anna's scarring on the back of her neck to that of Carolyn Sanderson's shadow implants, and he finds an exact match.
Dun,
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 dun.
Anyway, Sheridan is able to talk to Anna, and before he agrees to go to Zahadum, he wants to know what happened to the crew of the Icarus. Anna tells him, basically, and we have a big flashback, as Stephen was able to go over that, the crew of the Icarus found Zahadum, and they had gotten the coordinates from the tracking device installed in the shadow vessel that was found on Mars.
Yep.
And after finding the shadows, the Icarus was destroyed in an accident. They were stranded. The shadows were vulnerable from hibernation, so they agreed to keep their secret in exchange for studying their technology. And Sheridan agrees to go to Zahadum, but is aware of Franklin's findings. End of Act 1. Anyway, Sheridan meets with Michael Garibaldi and asks him to arrange for the Minbari crew of the White Star to be brought to the station and processed with identicards. And he gives him a list of instructions on a data pad. One of the instructions gives Garibaldi pause. Sheridan asks Garibaldi to trust him, and when it is done, they next when they meet next, they will talk about the weather. Wink, wink. And so the White Star crew are ferried off the ship. Sheridan prepares himself for the journey. He arms himself with a PPG and straps a second weapon to his left leg as he prepares to see Kosh in the mirror, who tells him, if you go to Zahadum,
you will die.
You will die.
You're also forgetting, but he also he made plans with Garibaldi. He didn't want anyone else to know. He set up a secret message that was time delayed for Delenn, and he also took 2 of Jakar's thermal weapons, or nuclear weapons.
Yep.
Sorry.
Because,
no, it is about the nuclear weapons. 2 of them are missing. It's like, Nani? Where could they be? I'm like, you son of a gun. You're doing exactly what I would do.
Wait. So you have a habit of just taking nuclear whatever?
I am willing to
long thought dead spouse shows up.
I am willing to do what needs to be done, Keith. This is why I have to call myself a fascist pacifist. It's a terrible thing to have to do, but in these trying times.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, most people would just hire a detective and try to figure out exactly where their spouse has been, but if you want to go to the nuclear option, as they say,
the man has destruction in his name.
I'm just saying, like Mr. Chuckle Trunk said, I try to make it obvious, but let's all be glad I'm not Emperor of these United States.
It was a little warhead on Zahadum.
That is what somebody said.
We're here at Fat Steven. Do not believe in that stuff. We don't know what's going on right now, but we just like, yeah, okay.
We do not
War
condone.
Is bad. Do not use nuclear weapons indiscriminately.
Do you have
just
a grenade
for spouses thought long dead?
Can't hug children with nuclear arms.
Oh wow!
Seems like
you know what though? I can't say I'm really down with it, but I kind of sort of understand. So that's as close as I can.
How the nuclear weapons transpire with what Adega elaborated on with the books, it makes all the more sense. Like, it was accidentally perfect.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Yeah, Keith missed that part. I
Yes.
gave him the history for the Techno Mages and how Galen ended up on Zahadum at the same time.
Oh, you did.
And then and where this bomb lands, it coincides with that story almost perfectly, and it's kind of eerie.
Yep. Which I still have to finish up a little bit of what Galen did, just because I find it fascinating, and you're a captive and going to hear me talk about it anyway. So go ahead.
Well, having mentioned all that, then you could see why Crusade was a necessary series for those of us that were, really deep into the story being told of Babylon 5, that it was necessary to follow the story into Crusade. And I met that particular actor who played Galen. Nice guy. Really super nice guy.
Very English.
My favorite character in Babylon 5 universe.
He is one of my favorite characters. But I also had to tell him I was a big fan of his dad. So who also had an opportunity to make a cameo appearance on Crusade. So anyway, I am going to go back to the story.
Okay.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Let's see. So Anna and Sheridan head for the shuttle. Garibaldi meets him at the docking bay, gives him a weather report from Earth, and Sheridan and Anna board the White Star and head for Zahadum. During the voyage, Anna examines the White Star.
Knowing it's Vorlon tech.
Yep.
And Vorlon tech supposedly can hurt them. Yeah. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. She explains that the Shadows believe if anything Vorlon touches their homeworld, then they will die. Sheridan promises to use the shuttle to reach the surface. Franklin finds Ivanova and explains the problem with Anna, confused that Sheridan would go with her even after seeing his report. On the surface, the two pass by the excavation site and into a structure. Sheridan is relieved of his weapon, and Anna brings him to meet other agents of the Shadows, including Morden and a man named Justin, who presents himself as a middleman.
Man in the middle. His dialogue was also great. Like, who's the one who decides when we work 9 to 5, not 11 to 4? I was like, don't ever piss off the old man.
He reminded me of the architect from The Matrix.
Yep. And there was also that one little part, I don't know if they were trying to make humor. It was like, not that door, John. He doesn't know. He's new place in Zahadum. First time he's there, he's like, not that door, John. This one. I'm like,
That's what I would be doing, snooping while walking there.
Yeah, but you didn't want to go in that door. From the same book that I'm quoting, behind that door was a shadow observation room. He would have walked in right in the middle of a group of them and been eaten or otherwise torn apart and used as parts for other machines.
Plug it in. Plug it in.
Oh God!
Yes.
Wow. Anyway, Delenn receives the message from Sheridan informing her that he has gone to Zahadum, and he tells her about his experience in the future during the time rift that he encountered on their mission to Babylon 4. Wow, like one would have thought he would have said something about that a little bit before this, but that's my only thing. I would have at least, Anyway, he also tells her that he knows Zahadum is almost certainly a trap.
Imagine that.
Wait,
Beautiful.
how'd you find my old sensei? No, that looks like one of my senseis, Mr. Ogre. Oh, that was a picture from something. Oh, well, we're both Jewish. Sorry.
Hey, that's what
Wow.
That looks good.
Mhm.
Should make that my profile pic.
You know,
I got
you might be ready to
just
join
the
the
nose, you
cast
got
on
it.
the reboot.
Yeah, I gotta fix your nose,
boy.
dude. You have a blemish.
I would totally do it.
I don't know why I got everything, but right there.
Wow.
I gotta fix your
I think
beard,
I'd
too.
be a good Zathras. So I could wear a fursuit.
Wow.
Oh,
There you go.
Zathras likes tall hair. Short hair good too, but Zathras likes stroking long things.
Jesus.
Okay, then. Jesus, that just got
This is why Zathras will always be alone. Very, very sad life, but Zathras accept.
Probably a very sad death. But at least there is symmetry.
Yes. Balance in world.
Sorry.
Keith, save us. You're still showing us the strange image.
It's hypnotizing.
Okay, we were looking at
It
the
is
professor.
kind of hypnotizing.
Like, what is going on here? Is this uncanny
No,
valley?
don't worry. I cleaned it up. Don't worry. I cleaned it up. There you go.
Awesome.
What's wrong with your tongue, bro? Jesus. Zahadoon. Okay, I gotta stop sharing that now.
I love the collar because it looks like a big chain.
Good.
Yes, we're back to
You're
Justin.
muted.
Muted memes.
It's
So,
best that
do
way.
Do they just pick people with the most punchable faces? Because this guy got on my nerves.
I thought he was a scientist. He's a scientist. He's a man of
I mean,
science.
that's fine. You can still have a punchable face.
He looks like he built rockets for the Germans.
He wants to punch scientists in the face.
Yeah.
It's another plaid shirt.
Wait, his name's Geode?
Hey,
Oh,
leave the
yeah.
man alone. He's wearing a vest. Keith likes vests. Let's not attack him because you're all vested.
They'll be vested, yeah.
I said
Hey, I have an investment in Vest.
Let's see what you did there.
On Zahadoon, Justin reveals the history of the Vorlons and Shadows, and how the Shadows use conflict to help guide the younger races to be stronger and better and to evolve and grow. Around Babylon 5, meanwhile, shadow vessels appear and surround the station. Ivanova orders a red alert. So Babylon 5 launches fighters while Justin continues talking with Sheridan to try and convince him to work with the shadows. They reveal the Vorlons have been manipulating the younger races for centuries and are responsible for the appearance of human telepaths.
And when
Justin-
Ivanova, when
go ahead.
she launches all fighters, remember this, she tells them not to engage, just to stand by. They do not want to initiate combat because, first of all, the station would just get nullified by the amount of them surrounding. They are very much at an uneven balance at this point. But it's the same way. This is technically a hostage situation coming from the Zahadoon perspective. They don't know this, but Sheridan does. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, let's see. Justin says that humans are favored and could be the first to rebuild in the next war, making them the strongest. However, Sheridan is in their way. Either they work together or Sheridan's support mechanism will be removed. Wink, wink. At Babylon 5, the command crew wonder why the Shadows haven't attacked. All efforts to contact Drawl are jammed. Garibaldi joins the fighter defense.
The fighter defense outside the
station.
station. The three continue to try to convince Sheridan of their way, promoting growth by conflict. Molden commends Sheridan's success in organizing the races, and Sheridan wonders if they plan to kill him, take him out of his misery. But that would be make him a martyr, and they are sick of martyrs. That's the problem with martyrs. There's always another one to pick up the mantle, as Justin says.
Thank you for proving telepaths exist. You continue Keith's thought perfectly.
Eventually, we're reading off the same website. We're reading off the same website. Eventually, Sheridan reveals that he knows that what they did to Anna because it's the same scarring, the same placement as the people they have found in the shadow ships, and that she was a control unit within those shadow ships. And at this point, it's already too late. When they found out it was Sheridan's wife, it was already too late. This is just the shell of Anna. The person inside is like the Psycorps making that new personality took over Talia. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not her soul.
Mechanical, kind of
Yeah.
mechanical. I don't know. I was like, as someone who's been told they should have brain surgery, I think this is extra creepy. But could just be me.
It's not the Lurker's Guide, no.
What? What do you mean?
Sorry, I was replying to.
I created conflict. My work here is done.
And these guys, they're still trying to convince that Sheridan that their way is the right way. Look at the Volans as your parents. No, don't do that. Yes, do that. Don't do that. Always trying to tell you what you can't do and what you should do. And meanwhile, we got the anthill scenario coming from the shadows. Oh, we wake up every sort of while, just kill a bunch of races, hope to see what happens, go back to sleep, hot chocolate. We'll see you in another 1K. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
As a shadow enters the room, Sheridan uses concealed weapon, opens fire on him because he's just not putting up with their crap. Meanwhile, we get a quick flashback to Babylon 5, and Jakar is then saying that 2 of the weapons are missing. And it goes back to Sheridan again. Back to you, Keith.
Sheridan, wounded and bloody, has left the room and finds himself in a balcony overlooking a city with a glass dome above. Let me just say, this is one of my favorite shots of the series, and one of my favorite shots for any major show of this type that I have watched over the last 30 years. It's just amazing.
Totally
they better
agree.
find something to compare with this in the reboot. That's all I know. Anyway,
that was the first thing I thought of when I rewatched this episode. Is like, I wonder what this would look like today.
Can you even imagine?
Right?
Can you imagine, man? Anyway,
a 4K version. Oh yes, please.
And down on the surface, next to the giant crater, Galen is in pursuit of 3 renegade young technomages who did not have their place of power that way. They are strong enough and decided they are going to side with the shadows, not realizing they're about to be nuked.
Okay, so let's see. Sheridan sends a signal to the White Star, activating the nukes and programming it to crash into the planet. Behind him, Anna pleads for him to join them, promising to be a woman he can love. God, I've heard that one before. On Babylon 5, Sheridan's
We've all been there, buddy. We've all been there.
It's like that. I can be the woman you love. Then it's like, unleash the dragon. I'm out. I'm fucking out. Where's my fucking pants? I need to get the fuck out.
Hey, what's wrong with dragons?
It's not about the dragon. It's about what? No, it's the unleashed dragon. It's like you went from go out with your friends. It's so nice to go. Don't worry, I'll be here when you get home. To
don't worry. Sorry. You guys are like that too. So it's a
I know.
I only hope that would be a future Mrs. Memes.
Well, the opposite is this. Like they'll follow you to work. Like, didn't you eat yesterday?
I like dragons.
We know you do. Bareback.
How do you think dragons are made? So basically,
please don't copyright me again.
Oh God, it's not me this time. Monkey.
Who's doing that? Because I got hit last time. Who was that?
Yeah, monkey. So, speaking of dragons, this is basically one of the points where it's like, all right, he pulls out his concealed weapon, and he's like, all right, I ain't going down without a fight. You can't just kill me, so I am a soldier. I'm going to fight my way out of here. He literally gets to the end of the line, and it just reminds me kind of like from the Dragon Ball Z movie, The Tree of Might. It's like Turles at the end. It's like, join me. Conquer and rule. He's like, I'll never join you. You're mean and cruel. Except instead of tossing a spirit bomb, he tosses like 400 megatons, literally into the middle of the city, blasting it to smithereens. At the last point, the little bit of caution that's in him is like, jump. And it's like, I know I always hear that little voice in my head that tells me to jump, and I usually avoid jumping, but then I actually jump. So.
Jump now. I wonder if he jumped when. Yeah, jump now.
This is again one of this entire sequence is really one of the best sequences of any science fiction series of this time period. I mean, this show was just killing it. I mean, from this point on, nothing can really touch a show of this type.
Even with the dated CGI.
Oh, geez, it doesn't.
In
Good
spite of
writing.
It doesn't hold it back whatsoever.
Yeah, it is the fact with the character development and the writing, you can do anything, and that's the great lesson that I think many, especially those who work for Star Trek Discovery, need to understand about what good writing can do.
They don't write with crayons.
Just to preach exactly what Keith is saying, I was watching The Expanse right before this, and I've literally been blown away about what you were basically just saying. It's like the character, just watching how everything intertwines in just such a way. I'm like, oh, that's where they got most of that stuff from. Now I understand.
See, well, you know what? The thing about that show is that it is the sci-fi equivalent in a good way to Game of Thrones, in so much as that you have a television show that is built around a series of books. And the thing with the people that make that show is that they decided to end the show as the books begin to take a turn, because from here on out, after this particular sequence that they're running on the show, and after this section of the books, the whole thing changes. And rather than try to introduce a whole new group of characters to the audience, they decided, okay, we can just go ahead and end the show. Now, it grieves me to say that because it's so good, but I would rather them end on their terms than to try to make something work beyond the ingredients that make it work the way that it does. And one of those ingredients are the books. It was something that HBO and the producers and even the author himself didn't understand about Game of Thrones, which is that balance between those things is really what helped the show be good. And the moment any one of those three things was thrown off, that's when the show took a turn for the worst. So
I think Shane said it best. Great shows are like a tapestry. It just needs to be blended well together. And I actually agree with you, Keith. Yeah, I think it's better to go on a high note. Kind of something that, I don't know, maybe the maestro himself kind of set a precedent for. Do a good 5 seasons, especially if you have the budget and stuff for it, and go out on a high note rather than trying to drag it on. Okay, let's just milk this cash cow, because you know what? If they ever want to, especially if you're going to introduce all new characters, it's going to seem like a new thing. I don't know. Maybe you could do another series if they so choose, but then you still have the original. Yeah, like Babylon 5.
I just hope they better not screw up Firefly. If those rumors are true, they better not screw up Firefly. And something tells me they will, but they better not.
Oh, they will.
Oh gosh, that hurts. That physically just hurts.
Okay,
anyway.
let's make Keith happier with like hundreds of megatons of nuclear plasma.
Anyway,
how else do you end a season? How else do you end a season?
It's a bombgasm, for fuck's sake.
Oh, geez. You know what? Let me at least just say that Das Wolfen said it best. It's Zahabu. But
right.
Clever.
I love it.
It is.
I like that.
But anyway, see, we're on the balcony. He sends a signal to the White Star, activating the nukes and programming it to crash into the planet. Behind him, Anna pleads for him to join them, promising to be a woman he can love. On Babylon 5, Sheridan's message to Delenn ends with him telling her he loves her. As the White Star prepares to hit the city, Sheridan hears Kasha's voice telling him to jump. No. As two shadows start to approach next to Anna, see, this is the part that I like. It's just there is no way out of this one. I mean, there is literally
it's
just
a Kobayashi
no way out.
Maru.
he
It's a
jumps off
Kobayashi
the
Maru.
balcony. Yeah, it was. He jumps
Certainty
off the
of death,
balcony.
small
wanted
chance
to-
for success. What are we waiting for?
I wanted to also add a hand. There's also, if you look at this quickly, this one scene on the screen right now, it's actually also a kind of a little nod to Vader and Luke.
Yes, yes.
Join me. Together we can rule the universe as father and son. It's pretty much the same kind of things.
As we eventually learned after Return of the Jedi, there was at least a little bit of good in Vader. There is nothing in Anna right now that is good.
Yeah, she's not Anna anymore.
She's not Anna.
Yeah, true.
Literally.
You're basically basically. It's like, hey, come on, we can have good times just like we used to. It's like, no.
I thought everything within a 10-click radius was literally Ash.
That too, which makes this kind of funny and weird. It's like everything's falling apart, and yet you're perfectly okay. Okay.
Yeah, well, they need him to willingly give himself over, and that also becomes a kind of thing, in the 90s. I mean, when
kind of like with the symbiotes, with the willingly.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, kind of like, if you look at other things going on, that is really, with the shadows, but also with the Borg.
Thank you,
and also with other things, in the 90s. So you had the vampire books were big at that time. So vampires were back in our culture. But that's almost the kind of Faustian deal that they wanted him to make, and Sheridan wasn't going to do that one. There's just way too much.
There is one thing I want to add to this. I'm kind of disappointed. I know it was the 90s. They probably didn't think of it. I was really expecting, as she looked up and saw the ship and she started screaming, I was expecting her voice to change into a shadow scream. I was really hoping it was going to come to that.
That's
because I think it would have actually shown how much of her is not left and how much of her is actually shadow. And that's what blew my mind in a way, because in my mind, I heard it. But when I hear her rewatches and hear her scream, I'm like, it doesn't fit properly.
Does that make it more creepy?
That it is, or that it didn't do that.
That it didn't do that, because I was kind of expecting the same thing too.
Yeah, but I mean, it's something in her body, meaning that everything that it has is really what is the physical manifestations of who Anna was, and not the rest of it. Okay, to have screamed and done. Look, I see what you're saying, but at the same time, I also believe that you're in post-production. While that might seem like a good idea, I can see why JMS didn't do it.
What they could have done, though, is cut to a scene where the actual shadows are doing what shadow things, and you hear the scream. So you interpret it as like a continuation of her scream, but it's not.
I think it's actually almost kind of more dramatic the way it was, because it's like, oh man, it's literally like Sheridan's wife, even though it might not be her, it is her physical embodiment that is screaming as she's about to be blown to smithereens.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like that's why, like, when they have the somber point at the end of the episode, it's like the galaxy held its breath and everything. It's like, see, for that almost kind of resonated more, because you're like, oh, if it's just screaming shadow, it's like you almost dismiss the character a little bit more. It's like, all right, she is less human, even though it's the same state. You still heard a human being screaming.
I agree, but could you say it in a way that maybe the human scream is not like? I agree with you guys. Maybe I
like this transition.
No, I like the idea of it having happened, but it makes sense that it wouldn't. So I think you're right. I do.
I still give it an 11.
But what I was trying to add is maybe the human scream is more than just a human scream. Maybe it's the last of her humanity screaming.
There was something with the scream, though, that I didn't like. Is the audio for her screaming cuts out before the explosion sound, and they should have overlapped at some point. That was the only thing I didn't like about this entire episode, because it makes it feel less
It was in the 90s.
urgent. Like it was almost performative to me because she
It
stopped
wasn't like
before
a
it
good
blows up.
transition like the Matrix
Yes, the
when
Matrix is a good
like
example of that.
it goes digital when it goes down his throat.
Well, not she wouldn't go digital, but but yeah, the same thing where the sound of the explosion would kick in while she's screaming, but it sounds like she runs out of breath before it goes off. I thought that was I think that was in my opinion that was the wrong thing to do. I would have overlapped them.
If she doesn't have any more ears, can she hear herself scream?
She's dead. She got nuked. What are you talking about? She didn't do shit.
I almost feel that was a
What are you
90s type of thing, just because to hear a person screaming as there's a massive explosion as well, maybe not. I'm just saying, like I feel like that might be a contributing factor. So it's like you hear the screaming, but you don't want to push it too far because it was on like what, TBS or TNT?
No. This was still when they were in regular syndication. So.
Okay.
UPN.
Yeah.
Plus,
so that's the 5th season. The 5th season is when they were on TBS.
I do
or
also
TNT, I should say.
She is screaming. That's kind of funny. The other thing I want to add is like after this scene is when you're hearing like the little follow up and Jakar's doing that monologue. It was kind of an Obi-Wan moment in a way. And I say this because when Obi-Wan took that step back when he felt the shudder of Alderaan being destroyed. And it was the same type of interpretation of the silence of the loss of Sheridan, because Sheridan is the one that got the aligned races together with the help of Delenn and everyone else. And when the head figure is gone, is there still hope? And that's probably running through the back of a lot of these people's minds. It's not just losing a friend, an ally, a lover. It's losing that spark of hope. It's like Pandora's box has already been opened, but hope was snuffed out first.
He was also turned into a martyr this way, the same way Justin said they didn't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So there's that aspect. So yeah, I agree. But he was also martyred. Because nobody but him knows that how he died here. They just,
it was a silence.
They just know that the ship exploded, and that's all they know. So they probably think that they killed him.
Yeah, but that's exactly like with the Alderaan thing, because he felt like as if a million voices finally cried out, and then nothing. Same thing. There was a lot of tropes from different sci-fi across in these episodes, but this one kind of hit me in different ways with Star Wars. I don't know why.
Well, here's a couple loose ends too. Getting back to that book stuff that I was adding, Galen actually saw what was going on. The way most of the technomages work is they would picture things or images or objects and use that to conjure up different things. He was unique. He could never do that. He was a slow learner. So he used math and did equations. And he found out the equations that had no answer was ones that gave him the most amount of power, which was far beyond the other technomages. One of which, and I asked you to remember the shadow vessel skin, it actually created that skin around his body, and he layered it over and over and over and over again to protect himself from the nuke. But he saw Sheridan fall and knew what kind of a man he was, and that's why later on in Call to Arms, as well as going into Excalibur, he knew what he was dealing with.
Huh. That's
the reason why he's so familiar with him when he meets him in A Call to Arms.
Also,
years later.
That's why when you're with Galen, you're with someone of far more power than he lets on. As well as in the Excalibur, there was one time where he threw his staff in to take out another technomage's place of power. And that basically crippled him. And where the girl went in, dug it out, and gave it back to him, it was giving his life back. It meant a lot more. But either way, that all ties in together.
Yep. Very good at it.
And we're also
beautiful thing.
We're also missing two people, not just Sheridan, but Garibaldi is missing as well.
Garibaldi gets ganked.
I loved how the little discussion between Ivanova and what did you call him? Rosebud?
Rosebud.
Oh yeah, Rosebud. Yeah.
That was. Yeah, like I love the dialogue, the camera work, the dialogue, the acting, everything was there he is. Everything was on point for that.
Yeah, they both looked like they had been whooped pretty badly.
Yeah.
This with Garibaldi missing, also this is the start of a new arc for Garibaldi, and it's not only it's like his own walkabout, but it was forced in his own way.
I love the shot. You hear it, and then the shadow of the ship actually goes over his face.
Yeah, this entire episode is what a way to end the season. And those of us that watched it when it was first broadcast, it was just, you heard the collective, oh, snap, as we're having to wait until the new season starts.
This is the season where I got to actually watch live. I didn't get to watch the first and second when they were first done, but this one, I had to wait until the next year to find out what happened, and I actually thought that the actor was off the show. And I thought Delenn was going to take his place.
Just imagine this. Back in the day, you couldn't just like refresh the video and see what happened, or go back onto your streaming service and just watch it. Like you actually had to be there, or attempt to record it, or have someone record it, which usually meant having somebody record it. Because I still don't know how to program a VCR.
Well, the first step is memes. You don't put a grilled cheese in the VHS.
Wait, how else does it get warm?
You put it in the toaster.
Oh,
all right.
We need to talk.
I think we should start. Is there anything else we need to follow up? Because I know Adega has to go soon, and I know it's getting time for dinner for a lot of people. So should we go right to ratings? But before that, is there anything we want to add before this goes?
One of the best episodes of the entire show.
Oh, yeah, this gets a 12 for me.
Where is Mr. Garibaldi?
Ask Carmen Sandiego.
I have a picture with her. I found her at PAX.
You know what? This definitely lives up to, it's the point of no return from here on in. And this has just been this is one of the best seasons of really almost any show. And for this particular show, this has been amazing. Yeah.
You have those series where they'll have the big season finale and they have the mid-season, which is kind of sometimes a two-parter, which is really big. But this one, you had War Without End. You had the
parts 1 and 2.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's the one where they break away with Earth. I can't remember the name of it.
That's
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
The last two of this season, like you said, it was just full of awesome shows.
I really do think that they were going right at Next Generation with this. I mean, because season 3, the end of season 3 for the Next Generation, was their big episode where you don't know if Picard has been lost forever.
Yeah.
And for this one, you don't know if Sheridan is going to survive. And both of them were very well done, but hey.
All right. Before we go into rating, because I know we'll have to go quickly, this is going to the chat as well as the panel. Seeming as how we're ending season 2 right now, I wanted to bring up the thought of taking a 2-week break and coming back on January 3rd, a new year, a new season, and having a little Monday off for people. So I want to know if that is okay with the panel as well as the chat. I know Christmas is coming up. I know holidays are coming up, and I think it would be a wise thing to start season 4 January 3rd. We've done this for so many Mondays. Yeah, but we've done this for so many Mondays that maybe a little break and hiatus would be good. Not as a bad way, but works season 4, January 3rd. Let me know with a 1 in the chat, 2 for no. What about you guys in the panel, Keith?
Hey, I would not mind at all. It beginning as they begin. Yeah, I mean, it's great. It'll give some of you time to find comics and a lot of the books, and give you a chance to at least read a few things.
Mm-hmm. And I can torture myself with Wheel of Time. So Keith is a yes, Adega?
Yeah, I need to break. I got my son's gonna come visit for a little while, so it'd be best to spend time with him instead of with you. As much as I like it here, I like my son better.
All right. I see your 1/4 and Leet speak memes, but so Dega is yes, Keith is yes, Army yes, memes.
What?
We won't be starting the next season till January 3rd, 2022. So we'll have 2 weeks off.
Archer is correct.
42.
We're not doing Hitchhikers.
Not yet.
Okay, he's a yes. All right, Kate,
Yeah, that's no worries.
Tickle,
Hooah.
that's a yes, and Monkey.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we will start season 4 January 3rd. So mark your calendars. I will set up the stream later this week, so it's there. We're not leaving. We're going on vacation. We're celebrating.
Yay!
And now to the ratings. I give this a fucking 12. I don't care. It's a 12. I don't care.
Cheating.
Not really.
No,
I gave it an 11. He's allowed
Yeah.
to.
it's a 10. It's a solid 10.
10 for sure. Especially for the directing.
Yep,
Mhm.
10, absolutely. And you're right, Shane Nolan. It was Severed Dreams. Thank you.
Jeebus?
10.
Okay. And Keith?
And Adam Nimoy, JMS. This was a great episode all the way around. A flippin' 12 from the man. I mean, come on. I just this episode, if you've been following up to this point, you're stunned. You are stunned. So, yeah.
Oh my god, is this where Breaking Bad got like the end of season 4 idea from? Because it's kind of the same thing in a way. Because that's when I first started watching Breaking Bad, and I like watched like the season finale. I'm like, this show is freaking phenomenal. It's freaking crazy. I don't know what's going on, but it's amazing. And just actually watching and having seen what's gone on in the show thus far, or at least from what I've watched, I'm like, oh, I love it.
And I want to quickly say this. There is a pub chat this Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You know how it goes around here. We will be back January 3rd, 2022. And if you guys don't pop by the channel till then, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and whatever else you celebrate. Do it.
Kwanzaa, baby.
What?
Festivus for the rest of us.
And
Hanukkah's over.
Festivus, if you like Festivus.
Festivus.
But
God.
Festivus and everything else. Remember, Serenity now. I have updated the outro, so stay tuned for those that are still there. I want to thank all of you guys and girls for coming and being with us this year. Thank you. We'll see you next year. Don't be a stranger. And remember, Keith is always sitting on your branch with Chardonnay. We're out.
Don't.
I sense a disturbance in the force.